G'day guys, welcome to PBHQ Live. This is episode number 361. I'm Dwayne Nichols coming to you live on YouTube and Facebook now. As I have the past couple of weeks, I see that Billy Kalias and Michael Namoski are in nice and early. And Luke, who is a new subscriber as of just a few minutes ago. I literally got the notification right before going live. So welcome aboard, Luke. Thanks for checking out the show. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Hopefully you hang around tonight and each and every Monday night to see what's going on in the world of paintball. So yeah, if you're watching over on YouTube, Facebook, wherever it might be, drop a comment. Let me know who you are and where you're watching. If you're out playing over the weekend, if you were perhaps at Total War, if you were down at Sniper's Den at their 3-man event down there, if you're out training at Coffs Harbour over the weekend, of which I believe there was quite a few people. Kyle is in, Brad Short is in, Ryan Bennett or Moose is in, Tom Boyd also joining in. So thank you for jumping on board for tonight's show. Jamie Godber is in, Sean is in as well. So thank you everyone across both platforms for checking out tonight's show. Heaps to get to tonight across the US, Australia. Quick little mention for our mates from New Zealand. Events, yeah, Malaysia, Total War, Victoria, yeah, heaps. So let's just crack on with it. Paintballshop.com have got a special for this week only on their carbon masks. So if you want to get one of these masks, at the moment they are 15% off for this week if you use the code CARBON, CRBN15 at paintballshop.com. Now, with some of these carbon masks, they're at the highest of high ends when it comes to paintball masks and the pricing of them. I think you're paying between sort of that $360 to $400 range, depending on the mask and lens combo that you go with. So a 15% off sale across those means you could save anywhere from $45 to $60-ish, 65 maybe, if I can math correctly. Massive saving. Connor Johnston joining in. Good to see you in, mate. So yeah, big saving. If you're looking to pick up one of those goggles, that's probably the best price they've been since they were released, at least to the best of my knowledge. Go over, there's a bunch of colorways. I actually checked them out earlier this afternoon, and I didn't have it prepared and put it in here for the show, but there's like a sort of jadey green kind of color one that looked really cool. It was sort of, it caught my eye because I really haven't seen a color like that in any paintball equipment. So yeah, if your team's colors are like a green and black, well, maybe that one might suit you, or if that's your personal little style, well, maybe go and check that one out. But they're over at paintballshop.com if you want to go and get one. And got a bit of a throwback here from Gladiator, the other major sponsor of the show. Check this one out. A couple of familiar faces. If we just go back. And so before I do, yeah, Kyle saying the photo of me musket boy. Yeah, so that photo came across when I was looking up stuff earlier today, and I hadn't seen a photo of someone loading paint in by hand in a long time. So yeah, I thought that had to go in there. So keep an eye up here, scrolling through for the upcoming events for that one. Billy Kalias, did you say green? Yeah, it's not lime green. It's not your green, Billy. But perhaps you could go off the path a little bit. It's a bit darker and yeah, a little bit of a change from what I'm familiar with you having. And Russell from New Zealand is in at the moment, as is Jordan Bradshaw. Yeah, look at this ad from Gladiator going back a couple of years now. Just bringing you back to me. Halfway through that video, I realized I could hear myself, and I continuously go to put my headset on to play video games, and my headset is either flat or low on battery, and I wonder why. And it's because I never turn it off, and it was just on in the background with my voice repeating back through in the background. So I've turned that off now, and hopefully I very much doubt that it would have been repeating back for you guys through to hear that a second time through. But yeah, Brad saying green is green. Billy agree. Yeah. And Kyle reckons he got 3 kills off that. It's unlike a paintballer to an exaggerated story, so I'll believe him. And Wade, Graham, Michael Human, Lachlan also joining in at the moment. It's a little bit different trying to keep track of things across Facebook and YouTube, but I feel like I'm getting the hang of it. So yeah, make sure you're joining in the chat. I want to hear all your feedback. And let's talk quickly about the NXL Chicago that is coming up this weekend over in the States. If you're a Go Sports subscriber, you'll be able to watch the live stream across the 3 days. Oops, wrong button there. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Who do you see taking out the event? Currently, at this point, Dynasty are hard to go past, and I will just show you why here if I skip over to this little graphic. Across the 3 events so far this year, the worst that Dynasty have finished is 3rd, to first place. They've got a 76-point lead on X Factor as their nearest rival. Essentially, what needs to happen for Dynasty to not be atop the table at the end of this weekend is they need to finish somewhere like 10th or lower ish. X Factor or damage to win, and a couple of other results to go against them. Otherwise, they will still be at the top of the table heading in to the end of the season. If I just scroll down a little bit here, on the opposite end of things, the Latin Saints, who have recently picked up Colin Cherry. You might know that name. He played on TMG Outlaws, I think, and PC Katana maybe, going back a couple of years. If you're familiar with those team names, I think they were the teams that Colin was getting around on. Well, he's joined Latin Saints, and those guys, they would have to make Sunday and have Uprising or the Ironmen really, fail again if they were going to miss relegation for this year. So Saints are looking like they're in big trouble there. I would expect them to stay down at the bottom of the table and miss the pro spot for next year. But the interesting one out of all of that, or interesting two, I should say, but really it's the Russian Legion and the Ironmen. Like, this is 2 powerhouse teams. And I guess they are a realistic chance. Still a realistic chance of relegation. Ironmen and Legion, that's a real thing that could happen this year if Latin Saints somehow pull out a ridiculous result in the next 2 events. So yeah, pretty crazy to see that. And if I just scroll down a little further, Semi-Pro X-Ball, you'll see here in 14th place is the Meno 2 Titans. They've finished 17th, 15th, and 16th at the event they've played. They were out training on the weekend. Hopefully the guys are on the way over and looking forward to a big weekend. They have had matches that I know of for sure against Paintball Fit, Blast Camp, Colorado Blitz, and Annapolis A-Team. So 4 of the top 8 teams for sure at the events that they've been playing. Hopefully they get a kind of draw this time. I'm not sure if they're semi-pro. Let me just see if I can jump ahead here whilst I've got it on the screen. The schedule for... no, I don't think I'm going to have it there. That's all right. Hopefully they've got a friendlier draw this time around, though, because we'd like to see them make Sunday, which they've been on the cusp of a couple of times and just missed out. Yeah, a couple of good results, couple of different things going their way. Those guys will be featuring on Sunday, and I wish them the best of luck. Reese Smith is joining in, first time in ages. Reese has probably not been watching since the whole YouTube era started. And Connor saying, damn, seeing Legion in 17th is rough. Yeah, it's hard to believe, in fact, is the best way I would put it. And Ironmen, who have had a few mixed seasons, even when they were performing bad the last couple of years, they were still finishing, 10th, 12th, thereabouts. Now they're getting 18th and 19th. It's crazy. And Legion, it's hard to believe with the quality on that team that those guys are struggling to the level that they are at the moment. But yeah, anyway, I guess we'll see how it plays out over the weekend. I will not be watching any of the games. The time difference and the amount of bookings I've got at the field here over the weekend mean that there'll be no free time for me to be watching paintball in the early hours of the AM. Reese said he was around when YouTube started. Busy? Come on, mate. No one does anything on a Monday night. What's on TV at the moment? The Block or The Voice? Or... yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't watch much TV, but that would be about it. Or the news. if you're into watching the ABC, this is much better than that, surely. The layout the draw for the weekend. Top 2 teams in each division you would expect to go through again. Maybe the exception to that being the Hurricanes, although they've had a really impressive year. I would think that AC Diesel, they'd have to get things clicking at some point this year and make their way up into the top 2. From the bottom 12 teams there, from tier 3 and below teams that I think could make the Sunday for this event. Aftermath, obviously, Diesel, Revo. ML Kings have been impressive this year. And then, yeah, I would like to say that I could see Legion getting there, but who knows at the moment. They're just not performing that well. And a team like Hurricanes, who this is either their first or second year in pro. Time's a blur for me at the moment. I can't really remember, but they're doing so well to be up there and have featured on Sunday a couple of times throughout the year. So it'll be an interesting one. Ultimately, Dynasty go in favourites. They would be hard-pressed to not be, given their results over the past couple of years. This is the field layout. I quite like it. The Dorito side's a little bit crowded. Offset, inner and outer Doritos with the big wedges and the big brick there. But ultimately, I think it would be pretty entertaining to play. I know some guys out in WA were training on this field over the weekend. I don't know. I didn't actually reach out to anyone to see how it played out. Hopefully it was an enjoyable weekend on the new field. Alex Smith is just joining in at the moment. And Namoski saying, the last time Ironman won, it caused COVID. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. And Kyle saying some of us play Siege. Yeah, well, mate, I'd like to be playing Siege at the moment too, but I've got a commitment here. So unfortunately, not unfortunately. Fortunately, we're all here doing paintball things. Namoski, Dynasty or Damage for the win. Billy saying Dark Horse, but I reckon NYX, they played really well last round. Yeah, man, they've come on in leaps and bounds since they ditched Harris. And Tom saying that he likes the field layout. I totally agree. Let's move on down just quickly to the results from Total War over the weekend. And if you were playing Total War, you will be excited to know that the Total War video will be dropping in just a minute's time. But the UEF got the win 431 to 416. I'm not sure who this player was. Reaper, maybe. I tried to read the little tag on the back there. But I love the dreads. I love all the patches on the gear. Pretty cool photo. John Abello was out taking photos at this. The final event, if you're looking to play Total War, there is only one more for this year. It is December 10. It is coming up for the last one. It's totalwar.com.au is the place to go to register for that one. Hopefully they can match or beat their record on player numbers. Earlier in the year, I think they were somewhere around 170 at Total War 2 for the year. Ryan is saying Lee Enfield, one of the Reapers. Okay, so I thought it said Reapers, but the quality of the photo wasn't like spot on, so I couldn't really pick up on that. But Lee Enfield is the man in the photo there, so cool. And I don't know, I can't bring it up here, but if you noticed pre-show, Ryan, who's in the chat, I believe was one of the two guys giving the thumbs up that was in the thumbnail for tonight's episode of the show. So without any further ado, let's get on with the Total War video. Shout out to Adam Connolly. This event wrapped up a little over 24 hours ago. He's pieced it all together in record time again. Check it out. Yeah, another top quality effort there. Drop a little thumbs up emoji in the chat if you've seen yourself in that footage. I'd like a little double thumbs up if you were involved in that little one-on-one stabbing of the two guys who came together real close by there. Luke saying Moose killed it. And he was stand-in as the general this time around, I believe. And yeah, I did. I won when I first watched it. So I watched it back a couple of times, and I'm just going off Ryan's comment. Uh, I was like, oh man, someone brought a paint grenade. And paint grenades, if you've not seen one or used one, for the most part, they are really underwhelming paint grenades in paintball. They're expensive, first and foremost, and they're just not as cool as they sort of seem like they would be, at least in my opinion. And you can tell me I'm wrong. That's kind of the beauty of all of this. But at first, I was like, oh, he's throwing a paint grenade. And I watched it back a second time. And then I was like, maybe he's just thrown a handful of paintballs. And I honestly couldn't tell. But then seeing your comment, and you've said throwing paint. Now I understand what's happened there. I don't know if it was a handful of paintballs, if it was just one. I don't know if he was out of air. Maybe we need the backstory on that one. But yeah, a pretty cool little feature of the video. And I did post a comment earlier previewing tonight's show, saying that some of the drone work was really good. And I don't want to give too much credit because I know that at the last event, Mike Wybrew was the one flying the drone. And I don't want him to get a big head, but some of the drone work during that video was pretty good. And again, thank you to Adam and the whole team for getting that video together. If you're a player at that event, and as Luke just joins in at the moment, it must be so cool to, within 24 hours or so, see the footage of yourself playing at the event. Really cool way. And you can go back on YouTube when we're done here shortly over on YouTube. You can go back and watch a whole bunch of these videos. They've got highlights videos from, I'd say I've probably done about 10 or 12 of them here on PBHQ at least. So going back years. Alex Orr, drone pilot, I am told. So yeah, well, in that case, well done, Alex. Much better than Mike ever did. Mike's was terrible. Alex's was incredible. Well done. Ryan saying malfunction. He resorted to throwing paint and a full pod. Geez, if you got hit by a pod, that could knock someone out. I don't know if I'd go recommending that, but hey, yeah, whatever works, man. And Oscar saying they missed my trench invasion, only filmed as I got unlucky. Troy Osborne joining in a little bit late. That's all right. Just leave a note from your parents, mate. All right, and so, I mean, it's not as big as Total War, but in the scheme of things, it's pretty big for Victorian paintball. They had a 3-man with 8 teams down there at Sniper's Den, and in the background of this group shot where you see all of the players here and the referees, you can see their new bunker set, their blue and red Sniper's Den branded bunker set. So cool for the guys down there. And Victoria, it has been tough during COVID and post-COVID to get numbers out to training, to numbers to events. And it's just good to see 8 teams roll out to a fun 3-man event here. Dad's Venicky, so Troy Dix and a couple of teammates, one of which apparently hadn't played paintball in like 10 years, I'm told, went out and took out the win. The Punters, by name, won Division 2. Refs Inc. were back out there running events, which is good to see. I know that a lot of Victorian paintballers have been sort of calling for that. And yeah, as I mentioned, there was some returning players, some from as far back as a decade ago, and new players, some of which playing their first ever paintball tournament, were out at the event. So really cool to see. Matt Casciardi, field owner, spoke to him yesterday. He gave me a ring on the way home from the event, said that everything went well. They used gel caps paint, which I've not seen. I used gel caps out in WA at an event. I think it was gel caps that were used out there anyway. I feel like it was. And outside of that, it's pretty rare to see gel caps paint at tournaments. Matt did say it wasn't his first preference to use the gel caps paint for that event, but that is what was available and what they chose to go with in the end, and it performed quite well. Yeah, wanted to make mention of the new players, of Refs Inc., the new bunker set, and just that it was a really good vibe around the place for the whole day. He had no complaints about paint or referees, so they're good signs. Hopefully Victoria can build on that. I've been speaking with Matt a lot about new player events. We've been running the 3-player novice or beginner events in Wagga fairly regularly over as best we could during the sort of COVID and post-COVID time. And they're looking to do that down in Victoria and start growing the game that way. I'm all for it. Congratulations to them on making it happen. Alex Orr's just joining in at the moment. Missed my little compliment of him for his amazing drone work over the weekend. And Connor said the field was so good and new bunkers were amazing. Yeah, new bunkers. Up until this year, I had never owned a new bunker set at my field. And I feel like in a couple of years' time, when this field is getting a few years down the road and a bit of age in it, I'll need a new field again. Because once you have the experience of a new field, it's pretty difficult to want to deal with patching bunkers and repairing things and blowing bunkers up all day. Yeah, new fields are unbelievably good. And Reese saying, if it's stupid but it works, is it really stupid? No, that's a pretty good motto to live by, mate. Hard to argue with that. So yeah, cool results down there in Victoria. Hopefully we see more of that. There is another 3-man coming up in a couple of weeks. The NXL are looking to put one on at Coldstream. So if you're down that way and you want to play some more paintball, well, you've got another opportunity in just a couple of weeks' time. The event happening this weekend is the MXBL, and there is a little bit of an Australian flavour at this one. Hunter from WA is heading over there, and I think there might be 1 or 2 others. Not entirely sure. 8 teams in Division 1, 8 teams Division 2. This is their field layout. Again, much like the Chicago layout, I like it. The center's probably a little bit busy, which I don't like to play typically because you lose people through the center and then at some point you get bunkered. But there is a live stream all weekend long, and if you like watching people get bunkered, those centers that get a bit busy, if you've got some creative players that make their way up and through the center of the field to perform those bunkerings, well then this field layout looks like it could be a good one for that type of thing. Big bunkers on the 50s at both 50s means that teams will be heading there without too much trouble, I imagine. So yeah, you can check out the live stream this weekend of the Malaysia X-Ball League Division 1 and Division 2 happening this weekend. And I think in a couple of weeks' time, it'll be their Division 3. I think it's a fortnight away. And this time around, they're doing a 1v1 comp on the Friday evening. So prior to the event proper, there'll be a 1v1 that's happening. And Alex Orr is saying like Maverick, and Reese saying should take all the inflatable gear up to Cobar when they run it. Only a 6-hour drive. Yeah, geez. Yeah, just 6 hours, close enough. And a trailer full. Fuel in my new cars is expensive enough as it is, mate. I don't think I need the added drag of a trailer and a whole bunker set. But if they're looking for a field, well, yeah, I'm sure there'd be fields out there looking to sell. Actually, I do know of a field, a second-hand paintball field for sale if anyone is looking to buy a bunker set for their local field. That is an option that I can hook someone up with if you are so interested at the moment. So yeah, that's what's coming up this weekend, the MXBL and the NXL in the US. So live streams of both of those will be happening over the weekend if you check that out. Upcoming events I've been scrolling through here, including this one, which is the one I wanted to quickly mention. September 30, October 1st. Elite One Rush have capped their event at 20 teams across their 3 divisions. Over the weekend, they had in the region of 30 to 40 players out training, including a women's only training day that had about 15 players out on Saturday. Coffs Harbour, the south of Queensland, the sort of central and mid-north coasts of New South Wales are becoming the hub of paintball in the country at the moment. Outside of Sydney, no one's seeing anywhere near 20 teams to events. And obviously there would be teams from Sydney and players from Sydney heading up to the event, as well as Southeast Queensland heading down. But the local scene in and around Coffs at the moment is just going absolutely nuts. It's good to see. There's talk of a second field. There's talk of potentially AMS or novice events sort of shifting off to another weekend, which they kind of want to avoid. They like the interdivisional play that they've got going on. So just incredible numbers out to the events. It must be Really rewarding for the guys up there. And Elmo's been put in charge of putting out the field layout this time around, I believe. So it could be anything. If there's bunkers out there, that'll be a start. So really cool. Tom Boyd saying we're heading up to play. Awesome, mate. Yeah, I think I can't recall really ever hearing over the years a bad report about an event up at COFs. The Elite One events, when I hear back, usually playing surface, unreal, a variety of paint rather than just one brand. They usually have a variety of paint. The paint is cheap. Yeah, I think it's just got everything going for it at the moment. Tom saying looking forward to it, and the families can watch us play. The kids can't wait. Billy saying Wicked Assassins will be playing there. And Carl saying Interdiv will stay. There is a Novs Ems event coming up as a separate event as well as Rush. So yeah, really cool. Get around it. If you're within a couple of hours drive or even further, make your way to COFs and play one of their events. And you need to register early because yeah, they're just selling them out at the moment. It was capped at 18 and then capped at 19, and now it's actually capped, I'm told, for realsies this time at 20. So shout out to those guys, but keep an eye here. There is other events coming up over the next couple of weeks. Register for them nice and early if you haven't already. A couple of birthdays to do shout outs for, and the big one here, Johnny Caruana, birthday today. Kirby, Craig, Tyler, and James all celebrating birthdays later in the week. Rumor has it this photo was taken at Total War after John spent 10 seconds on the field, walking away with 6 or 7 pods there and an empty gun, no doubt. So, yeah, happy birthday, Johnny. I wanted to quickly mention for everyone, I was speaking with Dave from the MXBL earlier today, flicking a couple of text messages back and forth about his event. And then I don't know how we got onto it, but we talked about if certain people in certain locations, whether that be field owners, players, event organizers, whatever, weren't to be involved in paintball anymore, what that would mean to their local scene. John Caruana is like the exact person that came to mind when we were talking about that. There is a couple of people dotted around this country and elsewhere, like Malaysia, like Ben and Jane in Singapore, like Dave Hopkins in New Zealand. If these couple of people, for whatever reason, were out of paintball, if they went on to a different career, if they went into a different hobby, if they just stopped altogether for whatever reason, it would have such an enormous impact. And Johnny Caruana is like absolutely one of those people. So yeah, I just think if you're out at an event and you see someone like a John or like Kay Adams up at Elite, just say thank you to your paintball field owners, your operators, event organizers, the captains of long-standing teams. Man, the effort that some people go to for little reward often to keep the paintball scene going is just incredible. Tom Boyd saying Johnny is irreplaceable. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. Billy saying the playing surface is always awesome at COFs. Pete does a top job every time. And Pete Burgess saying the Top Hat Jokers are going to kill it in COFs. Yeah, well, best of luck to everyone heading up there. I hope you have an unreal weekend. And if there's 20 teams at any event, you're almost guaranteed to. That's 20 teams of at least 5 people, probably more. But you're talking at least 100 paintballs. So 100 idiots are getting together in one place. It's going to be a laugh, isn't it? And they're not all idiots. But as a collective, if we had a collective noun, that'd probably be a pretty good one. So yeah, that's everything that I had for tonight, I believe. Let me just check my list real quick. Yeah, birthday's done, all done. Last thing I'll leave you with, the prizes for the year. It's not too late to sign up. Patreon.com/PBHQ. Couple of prizes. 50 pods and a pod bag will be given away at the beginning of next month. And then the Carbon SC Pro bottoms in October. So sign up at patreon.com/PBHQ if you have not already to be eligible for those ones. And Kyle saying it is also Pete Adams' birthday on the Saturday of the event, I assume you're talking about. So yeah, that'll be a big party up there for that one. So yeah, again, if you weren't going to enjoy the weekend already, I'm sure it's going to be an absolute belter now. Thank you for joining in tonight, guys. Join me again next Monday for another big week in all things paintball. Best of luck to the Manawatu Titans. We'll be following along their results for the weekend. Hope they make Sunday and do us all proud over there. Till then, have a good week. Bye.